Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. JLR investigates. Come on in. We have a dangerous situation going on right now. Tampa, Florida, Hillsborough County, Florida, my neck of the woods. Right here is a photograph of a 15-year-old individual. Jahmir Moore, that is his name. And this morning, folks, he escaped from the Juvenile Detention Center in Hillsborough County. Oh, this is a dangerous situation. Why is this a dangerous situation? Well, this individual just 4 days ago was arrested and charged with murdering a 14-year-old juvenile way back from a crime in April of 2024 where a 14-year-old was found dead on the railroad tracks in Tampa, Florida. It took law enforcement many, many months to make an arrest. And just the other day, on the 4th of December, Tampa police chief, along with the family of the victim, held a press conference about the arrest. And we were actually going to play that press conference on JLR Investigates. And then I just saw across the wire just a few hours ago a message by the Tampa Police Department announcing that he escaped. So, folks, we have a 15-year-old murder suspect on the loose. It's very bad because when you got situations like this where you got juveniles that show that they can do violence escaping, this is a bad situation because I have a feeling that this guy will probably commit more crimes. So it's very important to put this guy's name out there. They set out the plea and they said, do not approach this guy whatsoever. That's what the authorities are saying. Do not approach this guy. Call 911 immediately. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the alert. At 2:26 p.m. Eastern today, Tampa police put out the alert and said this. The Tampa Police Department is assisting in the search for missing inmate 15-year-old Jahmir Moore. There's evidence to indicate he escaped the Juvenile Detention Center. If you see Moore, call immediately. Do not engage with him. Now, I don't know why this is not getting more media attention, but this is a big, big deal, considering what he is accused of doing. He literally terrorized another family. He is accused of murdering a 14-year-old on railroad tracks on Busch and Rome in Tampa. So, age 15 years old. His charges are 1 felony count of first-degree murder, 1 felony count of carrying a concealed firearm, 1 felony count of tampering with physical evidence, 1 misdemeanor count of minor in possession of firearm. Oh, my goodness. He looks much older than that, right? I saw this photo and I was like, hey, this dude here looks much older than 15. Nevertheless, there is a accused murderer out on the loose. We have to get that information out there, and it's important because covering true crime cases nationwide always seems to happen when these juveniles escape detention centers or juvenile detention holding facilities or juvenile prisons. When they escape, they usually commit more crimes. They sometimes carjack people, sometimes they steal people's cars, sometimes they rob people at gunpoint, sometimes they burglarize homes, sometimes they do whatever. But if this guy is so cold-blooded, allegedly, that he committed a murder back in April and was roaming the streets for months and killed another 14-year-old in cold blood, he is definitely capable of killing again. I stress, do not approach this guy. The victim, and I have to remember the victim's name, Jevaio Buie. Jevaio Buie. Now, just the other day, we're going to talk more about this case, but let's keep people up to speed because this could get very, very bad very, very quickly, you know. And also, you're talking about a juvenile out on the loose. So, I don't know how police will actually handle this situation. Like, will they shoot and kill the guy if he doesn't, surrender, if they corner him? Yes, apparently he escaped this morning. And I'm very concerned about society, like lock your doors type of deal. And I'm going to show you where the detention center is at, and I'll show you where the he's accused of committing the murders because he could probably, I don't know who his parents are. Never heard anything about his parents. But it's a very good chance if he murdered this kid over by Busch and Rome, he probably lives somewhere around there. But he's only 15 years old. So just the other day, they announced his arrest. This is like one of those things where it's not like he's been sitting for a while. He was just arrested the other day. So you might have a problem at the detention center, the Juvenile Detention Center in Tampa, Florida, that maybe these inmates have a capability of escaping. Might have a problem here. We'll do this. We'll do two things here. We'll play this clip right here, describing. It's a 2-minute clip, and then we'll get into the press conference the other day announcing his arrest, and you could just feel the pain of the victim's family. See, now the victim's family has to deal with this horror, knowing that a guy that murdered their son, their child, their 14-year-old child, is now out on the loose after waiting months for an arrest and getting some justice, right? Some justice on December 4th, getting some justice. They get some justice, right? Accountability time. Family's been waiting months. From April all the way to spring, it's months. Boom, they arrest the guy on December 4th. Family's at the press conference. What a relief, right? Guys off the streets. Finally, someone's going to be accountable. Imagine the victim's family getting a phone call this morning by Tampa police or whoever saying, the Buie family have terrible, terrible news. The individual that is accused of murdering your son has escaped. Imagine. Just imagine. I don't know what I would do. It'd be scary. It'd be scary for sure. Here's one news clip we'll further discuss after we play this news clip right here.
Police in Tampa say they have solved a heartbreaking case that left a family in agony and searching for answers. A 15-year-old is now behind bars accused of killing another teenager back in April. News Channel 8's George MacArthur is live outside of the Tampa Police Department with how detectives were able to piece the case together. Georgia.
Stacey, detectives say it was painstaking to solve the key evidence, like messages on social media with information only those involved would know, helped solve this case.
I've been living in a nightmare since I lost my son. And now I can feel a little bit of closure.
It has been 271 days of indescribable grief for 14-year-old Jevaio Buie's family.
I assured Jevaio's family and our community back in May that we were committed to getting justice in this tragic death.
Tampa police announcing the arrest of 15-year-old Jahmir Moore, who they believe fatally shot Buie back in April. The shooting happened near the railroad tracks between Busch Blvd and Rome Avenue.
We're deeply saddened that it was another 15-year-old. At the same time, we know that the streets of Tampa are safer today.
Police say the break in the case came after a month of combing through digital evidence and surveillance footage, including a video showing Jevaio walking with two others, including Moore, just before the shooting.
In one of the messages exchanged on social media, Moore also discussed details of the murder that were not publicly available to anyone.
As for the victim's family, they say the arrest brings some closure, but the pain of losing a child remains.
Jevaio was a good kid, and he had the rest of his life that we were hopeful for.
And police say the suspect is facing felony charges, including minor possession of a firearm and murder. Stacey?
Do we have any idea how the suspect, this minor, got a hold of a firearm?
Detectives say when they went to arrest Moore, Stacey, that he had a firearm that was reported stolen out of Miami. It's unclear if that firearm was used to kill 14-year-old Jevaio Buie.
All right, George MacArthur live tonight in Tampa. Thank you.
Magnolia said in the chat, police better get a hold of this guy before the victim's family does. So that was on the 4th. Big announcement. Tampa police announced that suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder back in April. And now this morning, you have him escaping custody. So he's back out on the loose. Way to re-victimize the family, right? Horrible, horrible. Now, Florida is known as a law and order state. Now, I've been looking on the Flight Radar 24. I'll show it to you because I'll show you the detention center where he escaped from. Very first thing I did was look around for any... Oh, look at this. Look at this, folks. We might have something. Look, we might have something. Tampa police are out there right now circling. This is Tampa police. Tampa police. They're out there circling this area. Circling this area right now. And that is kind of the area where the crime occurred. Jackson Heights. What is Tampa police doing? I'm sure, because I was about to say the police didn't have a chopper up in the air. But this seems like to me, they are circling around neighborhoods looking for the suspect. Ha! Ha! Interesting. Very, very interesting. So they are circling around the Jackson Heights neighborhood here. I wonder if this has anything to do with this manhunt for this juvenile. Do you think? I do. I do. Maybe in the area, maybe they're zeroing in on him. I think they do. You don't normally get a chopper, law enforcement chopper, that circles around continuously around neighborhoods unless you're onto something. So I'm going to find out more about this. And also, folks, I don't live too far away. So if we got something, yeah, it looks like Jackson Heights area, Tampa. If we got something breaking, anyone listen to the scanner and hear if they actually have a sighting of this guy would be interesting. Because here is where the detention center is that he escaped from. The detention center is right next to the Tampa airport. It's right next to the Tampa airport. He escaped this morning at the Hillsborough Juvenile Detention Center, which is next to, really close to Tampa International Airport. So how in the world does a 15-year-old charged with murder, and why wasn't he held in a higher security? Why wasn't he even held in the Hillsborough County Jail? I guess they have to wait till he can legally be certified and tried as an adult. Maybe if they would have announced instantly that they were trying him as an adult, he would have not have been in this little detention center. Look at this. This is the detention center. This is the Hillsborough Regional Juvenile Detention Center, right? And it doesn't look too secure to me. Just looks like it has one little rinky-dink fence. Doesn't look like there's lots of guards or anybody around here to me. Look at it. That's the facility. Why would you hold a murderer in this little rinky-dink facility and now he escaped? Tell me. Can someone tell me? Look. Doesn't look. They got cameras. Cameras. I don't see no armed guards. I don't see no heavy security here. I see a little rinky-dink thing. He probably was in one of these units. Probably plucked out maybe a window or an air conditioner and jumped out and escaped. But it doesn't look like too secure to me. He should have been in a more secure prison. Maybe they'll correct that. But in the meantime, let's go out to the road here. I'm going to go out to the road. I'm going to take you down the road. Here it is. Here's the juvenile. He's being held, a murderer being held in this little rinky-dink place. It doesn't look like a secure facility to me. Look. One fence. One little, with some barbed wire on the top. That's where he escaped from. Are you kidding me? If I was the victims' families, I would be outraged by this. I would be outraged by this. For sure. For sure. Well, as we've been talking about some of these facilities and the escalation of crime and escapes. And it's always these situations where it usually was preventable. Usually was preventable. Let's go. Oh, Flight Radar 24 has the chopper gone. And just like that, no chopper. No chopper. They had a Hillsborough County's chopper in the Jackson Heights area, and it is gone. Gone. No more chopper. It disappeared. Where'd it go? Where did it go? No chopper. So he escaped a little bit around here, right next to the airport. Jackson Heights. So there was a chopper circling in this area. Now the crime was committed right about here. This is Rome. This is North Rome and Busch Blvd. There is a set of train tracks here. And behind the houses, there is train tracks. So the murder was committed along the railroad tracks, very trees. Murder committed there. Let's go back. Busch Blvd neighborhood. Zoom out. We'll zoom out for everybody in Tampa. Yeah. Looks like it's North Tampa. Definitely looks like it's more north than where he was at the detention center. This is the detention center. This is where the crime occurred. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Where's Jackson Heights? Where's Jackson Heights? Can someone share where Jackson Heights is? Where are we looking at Jackson Heights? Because the authorities were all over Jackson Heights. Or are they Seminole Heights? All these heights. River Heights. Heights. Belmont Heights. Jackson Heights. So the murder occurred here. Chopper was just around here. Pretty far. It's pretty far. That's probably about 20 minutes or so. 15 minutes. And he escaped here. Right next to the Tampa International Airport. Very, very interesting. Murder out on the loose, folks. Now, you want to hear something heartbreaking? You want to hear something heartbreaking? You want to get the backstory of this? You want to hear about the victim and the victim's family and the circumstance around this case? We have about a 12-minute press conference just the other day by Tampa police announcing the arrest of him. Now police are probably going to have to come back out and give another press conference announcing that he escaped, which is crazy. So quickly. And it took a while for them to solve the crime, though I think the victims' families were grateful that the crime was solved. But man, I can't imagine what the victim's family is going through right now. I really can't. Let's listen to the press conference, shall we? I never listened to the whole press conference. I listened to a little bit of snippets of what the family had to say.
Police in Tampa say they...
Here we go. Now, I embedded his photo in there on the side so we can see and listen to. This is the Tampa police chief.
I stand before you this afternoon, joined by Jasmine Baldwin, the mother, Jokita Winters, the grandmother, and Michael Baldwin, the grandfather of Jevaio Buie, as well as the Hillsborough County State Attorney Chief of Staff, Gary Wiseman. I assured Jevaio's family and our community back in May that we were committed to getting justice in this tragic death. I stand before you today to announce that we've arrested 15-year-old Jahmir Moore in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Jevaio Buie. He's charged with
Said his name
one
wrong.
count of first-degree murder, one felony count of carrying a concealed firearm, one felony count of tampering with physical evidence, one misdemeanor count of minor in possession of a firearm. The loss of a child, especially in a tragic manner, is unfathomable. I'm incredibly appreciative of our detectives' meticulous work. And when I say meticulous, I'm talking like detective work that I'll get into a little bit later that is beyond reproach, that I haven't seen in a long time as being in this role. On April 17th, after 3:30, officers responded to reports of gunfire at the 1400 block of West Busch Boulevard. Upon arrival, they found Jevaio near the railroad tracks between Busch Boulevard and Rome, where he had tragically died from his injuries. We released this video 1 month after the shooting. It shows Jevaio walking with other individuals less than an hour before the shooting. Through detectives' tedious work, we identified Jahmir Moore as the individual in the video and the last person known to have been with Buie just minutes before the shooting. Detectives were able to find records of Moore's communication with Jevaio before the murder, as well as social media messages, notes, and search history, all implicating his involvement in the murder. In one of the messages exchanged on social media, Moore also discussed details of the murder that were not publicly available to anyone. We cannot accept or be okay with this happening in our community. I want to thank our state attorney's office, the U.S. Marshals Task Force, and the hard work of our detectives who never gave up on a case with limited leads and limited cooperation. Their work is why we're here today. I hope today's announcement of an arrest gives a small sense of closure to the Buie family and sends a clear message that our detectives will find you and hold you accountable if you commit any crime, especially a crime with a firearm in the city of Tampa. I've said this before, and here with yet another tragic example, I've told you that juveniles don't get a pass and they will be held accountable. I want to send a clear example that the city of Tampa, no matter your age, you will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Juveniles in Tampa do not get a pass. If you want to commit a crime, especially a violent crime with a firearm, don't do it in Tampa. This is just another example of how you will be held accountable. We could not do this without the help of our state attorney's office, and I'd like to bring up Gary Wiseman from our state attorney's office.
Thank you, Chief. I'll start by just thanking you all for covering this really important story for this community, so thank you. My name is Gary Wiseman. I'm the Chief of Staff at the State Attorney's Office. The Tampa Police Department's relentless pursuit of evidence in partnership with one of our most dedicated and talented prosecutors, Chinwe Fawcett, led to the arrest that's being announced today. 231 days have passed since April 17th, the day Jevaio's life was ended, and this arrest. I mention that because cases and crimes sometimes fall out of the news. But the men and women of the Tampa Police Department, the men and women of the State Attorney's Office will continue to pursue evidence, truth, and justice. Now, there'll be a tendency today to focus on this young man who was arrested. Who is he? What's going to happen as we prosecute the case? I will share with you something that State Attorney Susie Lopez has said over and over. When you make an adult decision with a gun, you will face adult consequences. There is no more adult decision in our criminal justice system than the taking of a life. So yes, it is our intention to pursue this defendant, to prosecute this defendant as an adult. And while the tendency today will be to focus on that arrest, it is our belief that this is an opportunity to think about Jevaio, his life. He was in middle school. He loved football. He loved his family. And yes, some of you know that State Attorney Susie Lopez attended this young man's funeral. It is our belief that this is an opportunity to think of his family and what they have been through. For 231 days, they were left to wonder, who did this? All the while, going through the indescribable grief of the loss of a child. And so today, this arrest brings some closure to the investigation. But I'll remind you of the words of Thaddeus Bullard, a friend to everyone in this community, at this very podium, on this very case, when he said, "Nothing can replace what was lost." I want to thank Chief Burkhoff for his leadership, the men and women of the Tampa Police Department for their amazing work. And I wanted to say for Jevaio and for his family and for our community, we will pursue justice. Thank you.
The detectives that work so tirelessly on this case are motivated by the family. The family's been involved and been involved routinely. I've had text messages back and forth with the grandmother, and we've spoken with the mother. But that's what drives our detectives. And that's what's out there. That's what's helping them. And that's what led to this arrest is the involvement of everyone working together. So at this time, I'd like to bring up the family to share a few words.
This is brave for the family to do.
I've been living in a nightmare since I lost my son. And now I can feel a little bit of closure. Thanks to the detectives. I know who now. Now I just need to know why. I appreciate all of you.
As a father, I feel an obligation to protect my daughter. And as a grandfather, my biggest commitment is to protect my grandbabies. And to realize that I could not protect my grandson has been a really difficult to process and to walk with. Today is one of those days where, we're deeply saddened that it was another 15-year-old. And at the same time, we know that the streets of Tampa are safer today because this hurting soul is going to be held accountable. And so I'm just grateful that the chief didn't allow this case and the detectives didn't allow for Jevaio's case to lay dormant and not be worked. And I just really want to appreciate you, Chief, for seeing Jevaio. Jevaio was a good kid, and he had the rest of his life that we were hopeful for. And his death has not only affected the family like in the obvious ways, but his little sisters have to endure, going to school at the same school that even this individual may have went to that school. And so it has made life really, really challenging and difficult. And so I just want to thank the Tampa police and the detectives for continuing to work this case and for not, leaving any stone unturned. And we're here through the duration. Thank you.
So as we're still grieving Jevaio's death, we're having today a sense of closure in an arrest that is a collaborative work with the family, the state attorney's office, the U.S. Marshals, but the detectives' hard work in applying technology in this case is what made the difference. So we'll take some questions.
What led to the arrest? What led to the arrest?
Well, first identifying who was in the video and then trying to establish probable cause, which is not easy when we don't have people speaking. And that's where the latent work came in with the detectives, as looking at social media accounts. And as people are changing accounts, staying one step ahead of the criminals in this case, is all the work goes out to the detectives who are scouring through social media accounts, getting subpoenas, preserving information, analyzing the information. And before you know it, they come across that piece of evidence that's probable cause, and then working with the state attorney's office is getting those charges, and that's why we're here today. It's clear there's a feud. Jevaio's involvement, we don't think is as much, if anything, but that's still part of our ongoing investigation. So yeah, we do know that he was lured there, but the intention of shooting him is something that's still part of our ongoing investigation.
All right, so I'm going to leave it at this because we have an update by police. And Magnolia sent me this. Let's get the update here. They put out a statement, police, just a few minutes ago about the escape. I believe. Here's an update, yes. So, and then we also got footage of him escaping. So, I'm going to play this clip right here. We will play here. This is an update by the Tampa police outside the Juvenile Detention Center. Let's listen in to see what they have to say.
My name is Ruth Kate. I am the Deputy Chief of Operations with the Tampa Police Department. I have with me Patrick Messmer, who's the Major of our Criminal Investigations Division. We're here tonight on a very serious matter. We are very concerned. We have an escaped juvenile from the Hillsborough Regional Juvenile Detention Center. His name is Jahmir Moore. He is 15 years old, 5'10", and 145 pounds. He was last seen wearing a dark green t-shirt over an issued blue t-shirt from the facility. He has on issued blue Dickie slacks, white shoes. He has medium-length dreads and a scar on his forehead. He is considered to be a very dangerous individual. He was last seen around 10:33 at the facility. They realized that he was missing when he didn't come in for a head count. We have since located video in the community showing him running westbound from the facility around 10:45 a.m. We have been looking for him for many hours now. Our K9 units are out. Our air service is out. We are doing perimeter searches. We are searching nearby businesses, other facilities. We have deployed a bloodhound, and we are pulling all video from neighboring businesses to help us track his movements. We are very concerned that he is not in custody. He is here on a very serious charge. He is wanted for homicide. This is related to the murder of a 14-year-old back in April of this year. And he, by now, can possibly be armed. So the community, if they see him, please do not approach him. We want you to please just call law enforcement, call 911, or call Crime Stoppers and let them know that you have seen him, and we will send officers to that area to investigate. And right now, I could take any questions that you may have.
So he was last seen 10:33 this morning?
Yes, 10:33 this morning was the last time he was seen.
You guys let the Buccaneers know that you guys had an escape conflict here in the game today?
Yes, we did. And in fact, Major Messmer was at the game when the call went out, and he was there on the campus of the Buccaneers.
Do you guys have any idea where he could be right now?
We are looking everywhere for him. We have not found him. All our leads so far have not located him, so we are not sure where he's at. So any information we can get from the community is what we need.
Do you know where in the building or on the property he escaped from?
Yes, our understanding is that he was outside at the time, but that's going to be more information will come from the Department of Juvenile Justice, because that's an internal investigation that they'll be doing. We don't have all of that information yet, but we just know that he was outside.
Did you guys increase security at the Bucs game or around the parking lots or anything like that?
I'll let Major Messmer go ahead and answer that because he was at the facility at the time.
Sure. So the question was about the security posture of the Bucks game. So between us, between the Florida Highway Patrol and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, we have a very robust presence of law enforcement officers, both inside and outside the facility, in accordance with various NFL best practices, as it is a critical infrastructure facility. So we are more than equipped to deal with any sort of threat to the specific venue and the game itself. So we were very happy with our resources that we had there, and those officers there did search the perimeter of the facility for him, and they did search any potential area that he could be in the facility. So we were very satisfied that he was not over at Raymond James Stadium. So there is a separate escape investigation that is now being launched, in addition to the actual homicide investigation that actually sent him here to this facility. So our detectives have been working on that all day long. They have been interviewing people at this facility, and we have obtained a second warrant for him for the escape from the facility. Again, he was in Department of Juvenile Justice custody. He was not in Tampa Police custody. So while we are conducting that criminal investigation into the escape, there is also going to be a parallel investigation done by the Department of Juvenile Justice that would kind of uncover the actions that may have led to that escape itself. So again, the one thing that we really need to emphasize to the community is if you know where he is, if you see him, please call 911 immediately. And the other message that I'd like to send is anybody who aids him, who helps him, they're going to be arrested too for harboring a fugitive.
Could he potentially be tried as an adult after all of this?
He should have.
So that would be a discussion about charging as an adult. The Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office will make that decision. I believe they've already indicated that they do plan on charging him as an adult for the homicide. There is a grand jury, because he was charged with first-degree murder, that's going to have to be impaneled to do that. That is supposed to be done sometime this week. So I would imagine he will be charged as an adult for the homicide, and there would be a high likelihood that he's going to be charged as an adult for the escape as well.
He gets reapprehended, if so, it might not be something you can speak to, but would he come back here, or would he go to a more...
So the question about where is he going to come when he is reapprehended, I think that's going to be a discussion that we're going to have with the state attorney's office. If he is reapprehended immediately, he's going to come back to this juvenile facility until any adult charges can be conveyed. And again, we are working very, very closely with our federal partners, with the U.S. Marshal Service Fugitive Task Force, in addition to all the Tampa Police and the Hillsborough County resources that we have to take him into custody.
What a mess. You heard that press conference that I did before announcing the arrest. They indicated they were going to try him for an adult. But in the meantime, when you indicate, I guess in Florida, when you say you're going to try somebody as an adult, I guess it has to go in front of a grand jury to get that. In the meantime, held in just a juvenile detention center. I have the footage of him running. Got it right here. I have the escape. Okay, so this was just given to me. Let's look at him. Here he is. Here he is, folks. There he goes. There he is. Look at that. He's just running. So they released a 6-second clip of him running. Here's the escape. So he's lanky, he's tall, a little bit tall, lanky, probably dressed in all the prison attire, the jail, the juvenile detention attire. This is scary, folks, because this is a guy that is accused of murder, murdering a 14-year-old, and they were going to try him as an adult as it was. Now he escapes this juvenile detention facility right by the airport, and as we showed, didn't look like it was very secure. It just looked like it just had just a basic fence and a little barbed wire over the top. Apparently, they said he was outside when he escaped, so I'm taking it that the juveniles there, they let the juveniles out probably in this little area maybe to do some recreation or rec time. This happened a little after, 10:30 this morning? A little after 10:30 this morning, so they were probably out there rec time, and probably he just decided to make a run for it. Now, you got a guy here with really nothing to lose. He has really nothing to lose at this point because he knows that they're going to try him as an adult. It's in his ear. He probably has all these other inmates in there, talking in his ear. Yo, you're cooked. You're smoked. You're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison when you're tried as an adult. They don't play in Florida. They do not play in Florida. Florida's supposed to be a tough on crime state. So he knows he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He knows the certification as an adult is probably going to happen very, very soon. As a grand jury gets impaneled, yes, probably next week he would have probably got transferred over to the regular county jail there, Hillsborough County Jail. So in the meantime, there's your opportunity. There's your opportunity to go just run and escape. Now, like I said, juveniles like this are actually, I believe, sometimes more dangerous than adults when they escape. We should not take this lightly whatsoever. Not take this lightly, because this guy is not going to want to spend the rest of his life in prison. Not. So let me see what else I got here. Let me just see the, while I was doing that first press conference, I saw the chopper back up in the sky. I might go down to Tampa tonight. I might go out there to Tampa tonight. Now, looking on the flight radar 24, I do not. It's quiet. It's quiet in the skies of Tampa. Right now, there's only a few airplanes around, small planes, and the airplanes at the Tampa International Airport. This is the area where he escaped, right here. They were up there in, the Heights area, not Seminole Heights. What was the other Heights that we were talking about? Jackson Heights. They were circling around Jackson Heights earlier. I also saw them up here a little bit by Sulphur Springs and Old Seminole Heights. But there's nothing in the sky to indicate anywhere. Look at the plane taking off. Look. It's pretty cool. Look. And they are off into the air. It's pretty cool watching the runway. I watch this all the time. And this when airplanes take off. It's right near, and what's another crazy thing is, too, this escape occurred just a few blocks away from Raymond James Stadium. Buccaneers. That's why they were talking about, the Buccaneers game and whatnot. So, thank God nobody there was victimized. But when you got a vulnerable, wounded animal with nothing to lose and boxed in the corner, who knows what they're capable of doing? Who knows what they're capable of doing? So this is pretty scary, folks. Other than that, we do not have any additional information. Let me just see if he's been caught or what people put online here. Scary times, folks. All right, so according to a Tampa Bay Times reporter just tweeted this out just a few minutes ago. Update, cops gave details late Sunday about the search for Jahmir Moore. He is considered to be a very dangerous individual. The Tampa Police Deputy Chief Ruth Kate said, "We are very concerned that he is not in custody. We're very concerned he is not in custody." So, not in custody. I'm going to be monitoring this all night. And if this guy's not caught, I assume that by first light, they will be out there looking for this man. What I have to say to my Tampa friends out there is, if you live in Tampa, all in that area, I would just say be very, very careful. Lock your doors tonight. Bring in your pets. Secure your cars. Because I think this guy is going to be desperate. Probably dumb, too. Dumb, right? They think they know it all. I'm assuming he'll probably maybe try to contact one of his homeboys, his dogs, or somebody affiliated with his family to try to seek help. As you heard from police, told the other people, if you think about helping and assisting him, don't even think about it. They will arrest you. Case in point, they will arrest you. There's a lot of people that have been arrested for helping or facilitating or even giving him a sandwich, even get him food or whatever, or helping him or giving him a ride somewhere. No. Don't even think about it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do not protect him. If his family are watching, you can reach me at JLR Investigates to set the record straight. Tips at JLR Investigates. If his family's watching, do not help him. Don't do it. Because not only will you be arrested, but your mugshot will be out there too. He will be caught, and you will probably spend years in prison for helping him. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you are a family member or a friend of this guy, turn him in immediately. If this guy contacts you and you get a text, a phone call, or anything about, hey, I need help or whatever like that, notify police immediately and share the text. Trust me, you're doing the right thing. You're doing a duty. If you fail to do that and they understand that you maybe knew about him and failed to report him or whatever like that, you could probably also be charged. You could probably be also charged with some sort of accomplice. And think about this, folks. Think about this. If, you know, if somebody affiliated with him, you know, and he reached out and they don't do nothing and they turn a blind eye, just imagine if he kills or hurts someone else, man. You know, stop this dude from, you know, creating more damage on someone else, man. You know, because this guy, if he reaches out to someone and then they just not turn him in or whatever, he could go around and kill somebody else. So scary times ahead. It's hopefully he will be caught. We will do a subsequent report on JLR Investigates. If you recognize this guy, he could shave his head too. He could start changing appearances. I think if he's in those brown, it looked like brown prison clothes. Let me go back to here. It looked like it's hard to see. It's hard to see, but they released it. But it looks like some sort of all brown clothes. I mean, that's what authorities are looking like. The very first thing you would think this guy would do is try to get a new set of clothes. Try to get a new set of clothes, right? Try to get a new set of clothes because he's gonna stick out like a sore thumb in these all browns. It's like prison browns. He's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So, you know, he's probably going to go either go on someone's clothesline or break into someone's car, garage, house, or steal some clothes some way, somehow to change clothes. So just be mindful and do not approach this guy. Contact the police immediately. Look, it looks like when he's running, his hair kind of stands up like that. So hopefully we'll get some more footage and then we'll continue to bring awareness to this case. Anything else breaks, you will hear it here on JLR Investigates. Praying for the victims' families, praying for the law enforcement that are out there searching for this guy. Let's hope that this doesn't turn deadly for sure. All right, folks, JLR Investigates. When more information comes out, we will hear it here. Thanks for watching. We'll talk soon. Have a good day. JLR Investigates. Stay safe.